So this is Baruch Fleischman, and we're looking at the Sidur, Rechovot Nahar. So I feel like I have to say, why are we learning the Rechovot Nahar? Well, it's full of the Rashash. That's why we're learning it, but particularly it's Sephardi. So in my life, I've been around through Lubavitch, and I'm very much Makur of the Breslov and Rabbi Nachman, and the whole style from Rabbi Nachman, I feel, is internalized inside of my efforts. But then I started learning Sod, because one of the things that he mentioned, that Rabbi Nachman mentioned, is that the Zohar is a very powerful tool. But you have to learn Sod in order to understand what's going on in the Zohar. So I went to there, and then I was in Miami Beach with in Rabbi Zweig's yeshiva. I met a great chavrusa there. I went and learned 4 years, not learned, davened 4 years with Sfardim across the street. I'm not a Sephardi, I'm Ashkenaz. But to me, what they're trying to do, they're working on basically the Rashash. Excuse me, the Sephardi Sidur. The Rashash is based on the Sephardi Sidur. There's a lot to be said about the Rashash. Rabbi Shalom Sharabi was a Taimani. He was from Yemen. He started the yeshiva in Bet El. So there's a lot to be garnered there if your interest is reaching Hashem and getting closer to Him through the study of the works of Rebbe Shimon, other Mekubalim, and ultimately to the Holy Ari. And now we're coming over here to the Rashash. So after we did the Akedah, we came to this prayer, and I'm just going to show it to you and say a little bit about it. It's the idea of it is that so we offered ourselves, so to speak. Ribbon Shel Odom Kamosha Kavish Abraham Avinu as Racham. Avraham Avinu is pure kindness. Can you believe this? He has to turn himself around into to murder his own son. I've seen lectures on this before. That murdering your children, we call it murder. They call it offering your children to your gods, was very common in Canaan and the land of Canaan. At any rate, Avinu as Rachamav, so that you overcame your Shekavosh Avraham, that Avraham conquered as Rachamav, he suppressed his Rachmanis, Lasos Ratzonachol, to do what you said to do, B'lev of Shalem, with a complete heart. That goes into this prayer, and we go through it. Now, I'd like to go through it. I'd like to take time, but really we're here to look at what is in this Rashash Sidur. Now, this is also contained in the this is Rechovot Nahar, Nekudas HaKesef. But just somehow this, the Rechovot Nahar is very widely used. And so I think there's always mistakes because you're copying images over and over and over again. So there's lots of possibilities for mistakes. This has less. That's what I've been told. So that's why we started working on it. The Ashkenaz do not do this. I don't think that the Sfardim, the Nusach Sfar does it either, except in the Nekudas HaKesef. So he starts. Let's look at this page. We're going to have. We'll read through this real quick. Mi kel kamocho, nose avon va'over al pesha. These are the 13 Midos of Micho. The Sheris Nachalaso, the remnant Lo Hexik La'ad Apo, Ki Chafetz Chesed Hu, Yashav Rachamenu, Yigbshu Avanosenu, that means crush our thin, or suppress our thins, really crush them. Basashlich b'mitzul siyam, and then send them into the depths of the sea. Kol chatosam, all of their sins. Titen emes the Yaakov, so give emes to Yaakov. Chesed la'Avraham, asher nishbato la'avosenu, that you swore to our fathers. promised them. Me me kedem, from the days of old. Now, those are the words found in Micha. I don't have the site reference in front of me. In the Idris, Rebbe Shimon explains the flow of light, which is actually the light of the Ein Sof with the light of something beyond our ability to be able even to call it light. It certainly is nothing. Nothing physical can be attached to it. But we look at the clothing that allows this light to be shaped, to come back to us, to come to us. This is what we're trying to do. What the Kabbalist wants to do is mamtik dinim, sweetened dinim. Dinim are a part of the world. The 13 Nesivos HaChochmah, there's 13 Elokim. It says all this dinim around us all the time. We want to sweeten it. You can't stop it. You can sweeten it, though. So he goes like this. He says there are two parts, and I read the top part. So what is the top part? That is me, Kel Kamochel. But look down below. There's also something else coming up. It's going to say Kel Rachum V'chanu, right? Erich. Then it says Apayim. They go together. These different ideas are all going together. And what I was trying to say is that the Rebbe Shimon explains, with the help of the Meforshim in the yeshiva in Nahar, the Abba Chatzer yeshiva there, and the printing that they do, or what they're able to accomplish. I explain that there is a concept called the zakan, the beard of Erich Anpin. The Erich Anpin is really, we would think of the beard as hair follicles which are hollow, like straws. And each of them has the function to mismayet the light, to limit the light, to cause the light to become smaller. Because the only way that physicality can exist is if non-physicality is suppressed. Does that make sense? The Ein Sof Baruch Hu is non-physical. We are so physical. Everything about us is physical. So I try to imagine. It says, you're going to get to Hashem, Rabbi Memran mentioned this phrase that we use. He says, a still, quiet voice. I think it's from Yechezkel. You get to a place where there's nothing there at all. But somehow it communicates. And that communication is this clothing. So the clothing, he says like this, moves down into the face of Erich Anpin. Erich Anpin is Atzilus. It's the face of letters. And I don't know if it said that right. I'll try to say the best. And it flows down through his beard. There are 13 different tikkunim in his beard. Turns out the tikkunim are like straws, like I said before, where they have an inside, a juice that's on the inside, and they have a covering like a straw on the outside. So just imagine a juice full of, what's the juice? The juice is the light of the Ein Sof. But when you look at the beard, you will see the outside. So the inside of the beard are these first letters, Lo Hechzik La'ad Apa. And the outside of the beard, and it's interesting, he puts the inside in big letters, and the outside he puts in little letters, but he says, because I guess he's saying that with the Benemius, it's really the big thing. Big thing in what way? Big thing in its closeness to the Or of the Ein Sof. And on the outside is the word Apayim. And let me see, did I skip one? Yeah, I did. Okay, let's go back over here. It'd be easier. I'm sorry. It starts like this. It says, Mi Kel Kamocho. So this is the flow of light inside the straw. Kale is the name of the straw, or that section of the straw, because there are 13 of them, 13 sections, 13 Tikkuni Dikna de Erich Anpin. Then it goes Nose Avon, that's what's on the inside, and Rachum. Now we're just learning as best we can. As I'm a beginning teacher, so it's not I want to kid myself that I know this really well. I've just been looking at it and looking at it and looking at it, and in a simple sense, it's just what it is. It's just. So then he says, over Pesha, the outside of it is, he overlooks Pesha. The outside of it is Chanun. He's Chanun. So then it goes, the Sheris Nachalasa, to the remnant of his inheritance. The remnant of his inheritance. So it's, in a certain way, we are all remnants of something that was pure and complete, whatever that means, to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. Well, a remnant of him is in us. So he said, the Sheris Nachalasa, to the remnant of his inheritance, and then it says Erich. It's long. So that would go along with the word of apayim. So let's just, since we took that page, in the time that we have here to work on this, we'll look at the page. Now you say the word mi kel kamocho. You say these words, Erich el kel rachum v'chanun, like that. So he says the first one shows a makif and a light, makif. Well, we know that the auras are divided into two different parts. I said, so try not that easy for me to understand this, and or. So I don't know what the difference. I mean, the way I understood it was a makif and a panimi, and that would be the word, but he didn't use that word here. He used the word or. So the makif is malchus, and the or is yud. Let's go down to the next one. That's the makif. Oh, I'm reading it wrong, and that's the reason why I didn't read it good enough, but so I'll do it again. So everybody, I've been getting lost and trying to find my way back, and here it is. He shows us the makif, and he shows you the panimi. So what's on the outside? And apparently it has a panemius. He says then you have a light, and then the kli that holds the light is the olive. So he says it sounds like he said opposite things. Or in kli, we have this all the time. It's easy to understand. So the or, he says, is a yud, and it goes into kli, which is an olive. I don't have an explanation for this. He says that there is an or, which is called a makif, and that or goes by the name of malchus. Then he has a panimi inside of it, which goes by the name of bina. Let's look over here on the left side, because you're going to see that he's going to go like this. Now I'm looking ahead, just looking at this. He goes, so the makif is malchus, the makif is yesod, the makif is hod, the makif is netzach. Now remember what we're talking about. We're talking about these straws, which are actually the beards of the light of the face of Erich Anpin. This is the face which is all good, has only sweetness delivered to you, but the delivery system is full of gavuros. It's very easy to get off track. We are now in Sphere on the 12th day. So he says like this, Tikkun Kademoa, the first tikkun, that is the first level of the beard of Erich Anpin. The dikna de Erich Anpin is a symbol for Erich Anpin. Shuhu Saros Sheba Meitzer Hazakan. They are the hairs that are on the corner here of the beard. That's near the ear. Shetachas Pasi Arosh, that are just below what we call the peah. Now here you're talking about the beard of Olam Etzilus. Now, the whole point of this is to channel the light, and each one of the tikkunim is a different channel. So the first is a different stage in the channeling process. And so we're going to do mi kale kamocha. It's going to have an outside, which is kale, and it's the first tikkun. The way it is that I guess you got to go in Hebrew, you got to go from the right to the left. So I'm an American, so I like to go the left to the right, but that's not the way it works. So the makif is malchus, and the panimi is bina. The or goes into the kli, which is a yud, going into a kli, which is an aleph. Let's look at the next one. Now, I'm sorry that it takes me so long to do this. I'm learning it, and saying it the best I understand using the background that I have from other places, try and interpret it. So now we go to Nose Avon. He bears sin. In other words, he has patience for us. And then that's the Penemius. And then the Chitzonius of this is Rachum. Nose Avon, that's the juice of the inside, that's the light of the Ein Sof at this stage is Rachum on the outside. He says this, where we had the Makif was Malchus before, now it's going to be Yisod. The Benimi was Bina before, now it's going to be Chesed. The Or, which was previously a Yud, is now going to be a K Yud, or K, I'm not sure what that means, whether that's a K Yud or it's like, they switched them around, but I think it just means K. But why put the Yud in there? And the Kli is also the same. So there's a case with the light and the Kli matched. I'm not sure what the meaning of that. So then he says, Tikkun Tinya, this is Tinyana. This is the second Tikkun, the Dikna de Erich Anpin, of the beard of Erich Anpin, who Shefa El Yona, which is the upper, called the upper. I read it wrong. Shehu Safa El Yona. It's the upper lip. Now here you see the anthropomorphizing of something which is not physical. But the Ari says like this, he says from your body, using your limbs, your feet, your toenails, all the way up to the top hairs, so the hair on the top of your head. This all is symbolized in Kabbalah, to make it easier for us to have an idea where things are located, what began, what came to the top. There's a top, there's a bottom, there's a right, there's a left. We have all of those attributes. So Tikkun Tinyana de Dikna de Erich Anpin, which is the Safa El Yona, the upper lip. Now, you have to try to tie all these things together, and I think in order to tie them in any way whatsoever, if it's possible, you have to go through them. So then we go to the word overall pasha. He overlooks the pasha. This is the truth about the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, our Creator. And he is on the outside. We look at him and we see that he is Chanun. He's gracious. He's accepting. Now let's see what he has like this. Now the remove from Yesod, we're going upwards in terms of the spheros. It started with Malchus. Then it went to Yesod. Now we're down to Hod. Hod would be the next stop up the ladder as you're going towards the Ein Sof. So he said, over al Pasha. This is overlooks Pasha, makes him Chanun. There's an or that comes from this, which is Vav and Yud. Or is the Vav going into a Kli, which is a Yud. Now, let me see if we start like this. This is a deep meditation, no question about it. So if you have time to spend on this, it's fantastic. He says, look, the or, First it starts as a Yud. Then in the Nose Avon, it becomes a K. And now we're in over a Pasha, it's become a Vav. Now, as far as the Kli is concerned, the Kli is going to be like an Akya. So it starts off like the Kli is an Aleph, then the next Kli is a K, the next Kli is a Yud, and that's where we're at right now. So he says, Tikkun Talisor, the third Tikkun, in the beard, the Zakan, the Erich Anpin, the dicta, the Erich Anpin, Shuhu Orcha, this is the pathway, Sheba Safa Elyona. Now, I think he means that I have a mustache. So if you actually see there are two separate sides to your beard, to your mustache, I think that's what he means, Sheba Safa Elyona. He says there's an orcha, there's a pathway there in the Safa Elyona. That's going to be the third. Now, the pathway, this is over al pasha. Over is also kind of idea of passing through something. But the outside of it is the whole thing is Chanim. And then again, you're picking up the Vav from the Yud K Vav K and the Yud from the Aleph K Yud K. And then we go to the last one, and we're going to finish up with this one. And we have something to work on now. And I bless you in the schus of the Tzaddik Emes Leben Nachman Fefeg. I say it all the time. It showed me a path, a pathway to get close. Let's go to the last one. The Sheres Nachalasa, which is the remnant of his inheritance. We who are study Torah, and especially if you're learning Zechet to learn Sod, we are depository of all the goodness that Hashem shines on us. And can you keep it? No, this world is not for keeping. But you can get a taste of it. And that's what the Rashash is doing here. He said, the Sheres Nachaloso, that's us. And he says, Erech, long. It goes with the idea of long nostrils. In other words, patience. The Sheres Nachalasa. So this is the year 5786. According to Kabbalists, we have, something like 214 years left that the world as we understand is going to keep going this way. That's a whole other story. So the Sheres Nachal also goes along with the air long-nosed. Keduni, he says, Tekune Ravio, the Dikna de Erich Anpin, which is the Safa Hatachtaina, it's the lower lip. Now, the up above, remember, he says the Urcha, because I'm trying to think about, if I never memorized any of these things. I just looking at them. I remember what I remember. That's about, unfortunately. Let's go down the line here. We had gone from Malchus. Let's see, let me move this. Malchus, Yesod, Hod, and now on the bottom we're in Netzach. We're moving upwards in terms of the Makifim. The Makifim are moving upwards. The Panimis are moving downwards. Now, why it started in Bina, I really don't know. But he says it starts in Bina, it goes to Chesed, Gevurah, and now when Sheres Nachal also, we're in Tiferes. All we could see is that this is a tremendous meditation if you want to, which I'm doing now as we're looking at it. And it's going to go on. We're going to do a little bit more. We're going to do a little bit every day and try to get an idea of what's going on. This is the flow of the light of infinity, of the perfection. But perfection is a word which, has a physical connotation. But it would be what should be and will be our closeness and trying to come to the Ein Sof as close as we can to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. This is Baruch Fleischman. I am your very own Saba here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel.